Hey guys, just wanted to make a quick video here. Say I've been on the road a whole bunch here lately, traveling for work, and you know, weather's getting nice and mind starts to wander as you're traveling down the road, and of course you start thinking about shooting. At least I do. You know, and kind of thinking about how shooting is a lot like driving. You know, you think about driving, we have driver's education courses that you have to go through, and there's a long learning curve to really pick up that skill. You know, you've got to go, you know, start out with your learning permit, you know, driving with your parents, you know, thinking about every step, every turn, every manipulation of the controls. It really takes time to get all that worked out. But over time, you know, it becomes just kind of second nature. You jump in and you do it. So, you know, unfortunately, most shooters don't learn that way. There's no formal training. And again, I would, you know, recommend if you're starting out, get a good coach. They're going to save you some time, teach you the correct fundamentals and the correct way to do it safely. But you've got to learn. You've got to kind of go through that same process. So if you're an experienced driver, you know, you can just look down the road and react to what's coming. And as a shooter, we want to be able to get to the point where we learn, you know, go through that conscious phase of learning to be able to do all the things to make them subconscious, so we can just look down range, see the target, and make a move to break it. So, you know, that's kind of the first thing I think is just the learning phase of it. You know, the second part of it is we got to have reasonable fit. When you jump into your car or your truck, you know, for the first time, you know, you're going to adjust the seats, adjust the mirrors, you know, and I jump in my wife's vehicle after she's been driving. You know, she's 5 foot tall, and so, you know, the controls are a little bit different. I've got to move the seat back, I've got to change the mirrors and do all that to be comfortable and to be safe. And, you know, unfortunately, most shooters, they're buying a gun off the rack. They're not getting any advice or any guidance on fitting. But if your gun is reasonably fit, you'll be comfortable shooting it. You're going to be a lot more successful too, because that gun's just going to shoot where you point it and where you're looking. So, you know, again, this is where a shooting coach or a gun fitter is going to help you a lot. Going to help make that process a lot easier. And you know, unless you're 5'10" and 180 pounds, chances are that gun you buy off the rack's not going to fit, and certainly not going to fit for consistent and good clay target scores. So really the third thing I wanted to cover that's really similar between driving and shooting is vision and how we use our eyes in both these activities. And so, you know, if you think about driving as you're going down the road, you know, as an experienced driver, your eyes are down the road all the time. You know, you can go down the interstate 75 miles an hour, cars merging in and out, and your eyes are just looking, and your brain calculates that for you. So you can, you know, you're looking at the distance between you and other vehicles, you're estimating the speed, you know, and your brain just figures it out, and your hands just move the steering wheel. And you know, same thing in shooting. We really want our eyes to be downrange on the target at all times, and you know, and our brain will just figure it out with enough experience. You know, some of the mistakes I see people make a lot in my teaching is still a lot of beginning and intermediate shooters are looking back to the barrel. You know, so that's the same thing as if I'm driving my truck down the interstate and I try to look at the hood of the truck to line the truck up with the lane. You know, I wouldn't recommend doing that. It's probably not real safe, but you know, it'll be a pretty unpleasant experience if you're traveling any speed, I can promise that. So, you know, again, we've got this big hunk of metal, our hood of our truck, that's right in front of our face all the time. We can see it, but we're never looking at it. And so think about the shotgun barrel the same way. And you know, we've got this 28 to 32, sometimes 34-inch barrels that are out in front of our face. Clearly we can see them. We can't not see the barrel. But the thing is, we're not deliberately looking at it. You know, I think the hood of the truck kind of serves as a reference point in our driving, keeping us in the lane. You know, certainly helps our subconscious kind of figure out where we are in terms of space on the road. You know, and I think the barrel is kind of the same way. It's something that we see we see it, but we're not looking at it. And, you know, it helps us kind of guide where our hands are in time and space in relation to the target. So again, when we're driving, you know, our eyes are down the road. When we're shooting, our eyes are down range. You know, and another thing that you know, when we're driving through several lanes of traffic, you know, we can just look at a spot. So if I'm in the middle lane of traffic and I want to merge right, I'm going to take my eyes and look right, and my hands are going to go to that lane. You know, think about that from a shooting standpoint. You know, if I'm a trap shooter standing on post 3 of the 16-yard line, you know, I can get 3 types of targets. I can get a left target, a right target, or a straight target. And so if I just kind of think about ramping up my vision and, you know, thinking if I get a left target, I'm going to look at the left edge. If I get a right target, I'm going to look at the right edge. If I get a straightaway target, I'm going to look right at the dome, the middle of that bird. You know, that's going to help take your hand to that target much more precisely. So something you can work on. You know, another little tip as you're driving, you know, you're looking at traffic signs the entire time you're going down the road. So, you know, the mistake that a lot of shooters make is they just see the target. They don't really look at it, don't study it. So challenge yourself to look at parts of the target, challenge yourself to look at the rings and the ridges. You know, you can practice this as you're going down the road. As you see a sign, you know, for example, a stop sign, it's this big red sign. You know, challenge yourself as you come up to that sign to take your eyes and focus in right in the middle of that O. Or a lot of times, you know, these signs, obviously they're fastened to a signpost with fasteners, usually bolts or something. You know, see if you can look at the bolt head coming out of that sign. You know, so that's going to train your eyes, similar to how we use them in clay target shooting. When you see that orange streak come out of the house or come off the trap arm or wherever you can see it emerge on a sporting clays course, you're going to see it, but then you want your focus to really tighten up for a brief time right before you shoot the target. That's going to really dial up your hand-eye coordination and make your shot much more precise. So anyway, I hope this helps. Again, drive safe, shoot safe, and go out there and have fun. Thanks for watching.